What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tsla, and the overall markets. I'm going to break down what's going on with the economic calendar moving forward, talk about other factors out there, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But just note that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention 8.1% APY. The offer ends very soon, in just about 6 days from now, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, now let's talk about the market. So, looking at the way the market's moving, right, we have this nice little structure right here as we're holding our key supports. But the question is, will we continue to hold these levels on SPY, or are we about to see some kind of rejection? I'll be looking at this in just a couple of minutes. But just know that for today, we're expecting a very, very big move that will affect whether or not the market pumps a bit more or if we get a decline. And the risk of the market getting that rejection is still there as we approach resistance. But I just want to say that today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024. Today at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's 30 minutes after the market ends up opening, we have the consumer confidence report coming out, not to mention the Richmond Fed manufacturing shipments, and then the services revenues reports. So look for some volatility at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time today. We'll see if the data leads to a big pump or a dump, so be very prepared for that. And then at 11:30 a.m., we have the 42-day bill auction, not to mention the 2-year notes auction at 1 p.m. So I'll be watching that very carefully. I also want to mention that the market's been approaching these resistance levels, and you want to be very careful as we hit these all-time highs. The level is a very, very tough resistance. As far as the Fed goes, we had Cash Kari come out to say yesterday that he thinks the Fed could go back to a more traditional 25 basis points for the moves. But he did support what the Fed has been doing. And there's other Fed officials out there, like Bostic, who are suggesting the Fed could be less cautious now if they are going to be normalizing a monetary policy. So that's something that's worth noting. Besides that, GM is investing more into its EV production. And on top of this, they're going to be working to improve their charging mechanisms for their EVs. Besides that, I didn't really see any too significant news that came out for the markets. So now I just want to focus on these charts. Looking at SPY, we have a nice accumulation structure right over here. We're trying to push a little bit higher, but I want to be a little bit mindful of the fact that we're going to be testing this resistance in this 571 area. And then another thing is that there is going to be a risk of this possibly not lasting. So we have to try to break the high at 571.5. If we do break that, we could be trying to make our way back up towards these highs. But even if we do go all the way up here, there could still be a decline coming because of the fact that the market's at a very, very heavy area. Now, I just want to say that the market is still trying to push a little bit higher. We need to lose 568 to turn back to bearish for this to start tipping back down. So far, we're getting bought back up, but I just want to warn you to still be kind of careful with the way this is moving. So on the 4-hour SPY is still holding up decently. It looks like it wants to go a little bit higher, get close to about this 571 area. And if it does test this trend, then we'll see if we get a rejection right here and move back down towards these lower levels. If we break through this, we'll be looking for a big push back up. So overall, I think that's this resistance is going to be kind of tough up here, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. But for now, SPY might push a little bit higher. And then, like I said before, we did have metrics that were suggesting the market might dip. Those are not looking as strong right now unless we do end up declining and losing 568. So far, the market's holding up. We might push a little bit higher, but look at 10 o'clock a.m. if we do get some kind of decline or not. And we're going to be watching 568. If we do lose that support, we'll be dipping lower. So just be very mindful. So I think we could go a little higher. Resistance is going to be a little bit tough. So there might be a lot of consolidation in this range, a lot of sideways chop. And we'll see if we get that rejection. If we end up losing 568, we're waiting to see if that happens. So far, we're holding up decently. On ES, we're also trying to hold up right here. If we lose 57.61, we're going to be tipping back down towards the lower 5700s. And if we try to hold above 5780, we could consolidate in this range. That's all it's been doing for the last couple of days. We need to break past 5800 to remain more bullish. As of right now, the move is a little bit more bullish. It's trying to push a little higher. Might attempt to go a little higher, but then we'll see if we get a rejection or not at resistance. We're waiting to see if that ends up being the case or not. So far, support is holding, and we haven't ended up losing our 20 EMA yet. To turn bearish, you want to see it lose 57.60. We haven't done that yet. It's still holding. So we'll see what the reaction is after we get the Richmond Fed data at 10 a.m. On Nvda, we're very choppy right now. It's not really doing much. I expect a lot of chop between 116 and 118. If 116 fails us, however, we could be declined to 114 to fill the gap below. Otherwise, I see a lot of chop potentially coming. For others out there like Bitcoin's also very, very choppy, kind of going back and forth in this area. we still have this 20 EMA as our support. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin chops around and slowly declines to about 63,200 to the 20 EMA for now, and we'll see if that ends up dipping even lower. For Tesla, we are more bullish. We push very, very nice this 255 area, but I think at 255 to 257 is going to be a tough resistance. Tesla could go a little higher, but then we might be looking for a decline back down, a lot of consolidation in this range. So we could be looking for a lot of sideways price action between 250 and 255. Look for a little bit more upside before it just trades sideways for the time being. For NQ, we're also range bound between 20,000 and 20,200. If we lose 20,000 flat, we're looking for a decline to 19,800. If we break 20,200, we're looking for a push. We're stuck in the middle, so there could be a little decline right here. And if we lose that 20,000 mark, we turn bearish. So I anticipate some sideways price action. For the QQQ, we have this resistance around this 485 area. And then if we end up declining, we're looking at 480 as support. I think we could be pushing for 485. We'll see if that breaks on the QQQ or not. And it is a tough resistance. Every time we hit this, we did reject for the last couple of days. So we'll see if we go a little higher if we reject off 485 to dip or not. There is going to be a risk with that, in my personal opinion. Looking at Apple, we are in a bit of a decline right here. We pushed up only to dip back down. So if we lose 228, we're looking for 225 as our support, and we have resistance at 230. I think that we're just range bound for the time being, and there could be a retest of 225. We'll have to see what the reaction is, though, but just be a little bit mindful of the fact that that could be retested. The IWM is trying to hold 220 as support. If we lose 220, we turn bearish for 218. If we break 222, we could be pushing back up for 222.8 and eventually back up. So I think we might try to get close to 222, and we'll see if we reject or not on the IWM, but that depends on our data release. For Coinbase, we're holding up very nicely. We have 172 as resistance. We ended up not coming down to 167. We're holding up decently. Look for some sideways price action between 168 and 172. I think we're just going to trade sideways for now as we're just range bound. Amazon dipped a bit only to get bought back up, but it's still kind of trading sideways. 194 is a tough resistance. If that fails us, we're going to decline back down towards the lower 190s. If we break past that, we could try to push. We'll be watching to see if Amazon ends up dipping or not. For Meta, we have this resistance to watch for around this 568 area. We also have support all the way down here around 560, so I'll be watching this range carefully. I think Meta just trades sideways between 568 and 560, but there could be a decline coming if 560 fails us down to 558 and 555. Microsoft is retesting 434. If we reclaim this, we're looking for 436 again. If we can't reclaim 434, we might continue to decline back down to 430. There's still a risk of it declining as long as we're below 434. Google hit 165 only to reject. We're looking for 162 as a potential test. 162.65, if that fails us, we're looking for the gap fill below. So we'll see how it ends up going from here. With that being said, guys, I thank you all for listening. The market is at some tough resistance. It is possible SPY goes a little bit higher alongside the QQQ, but be careful with the resistance. And a lot of tech stocks are at some tough resistance. So the market may see a lot of chomp and maybe even a decline very soon if we lose some key supports. With that being said, guys, I thank you all so much for listening. Do not forget about the Richmond Fed data at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll see you guys again in just a couple of hours for another update. Until then, thank you for listening and peace out.